Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Gray Man Prepping. It's time for Tactical Tuesday, where we talk tactics, gear, and more. Tonight's topic was suggested by Uncle Al at Die Bullfrog 71. Evacuation centers, do's and don'ts. And how's everybody doing out there? Okay, so I got a small, I got some slides to go through first on it when I show it, and then I got some points, and then I'm going to drop the link for Al and anybody else that that wants to come up and sing out on the topic here. And got more people rolling in here, so let me go over to the comments and say hi to everybody. Okay, if I can get back to the top. There we go. Okay, so the first one in was Seabass, followed by Uncle Al, then Walt Rogers, then Creative Redundancy, Suzanne Galley, Ada Neer, CR, Creative Redundancy. I got Creative Redundancy. Okay. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlight. Skinner Farms. Hey, Josh. Joe, Grow Big TV. Woo-hoo. Oh, by the way, Grow Big TV is now monetized. My other channel, Camp Family Compound, was the first channel member for it. Woo. And also give out the first super chat too. All righty, so let's see. After Grow Big TV, next one in was Troop 1351. Then Wayne at Becoming Dangerous. And Pennsylvania Preparedness is here. Everyone just talking. I want to make sure I don't skip over somebody. Moon Over Miami came in. Shadow Scout Sweet is in the house. Sue Ladine from Utah. And Howie at Food Forest Permaculture. Chef Tech 86. Hey, Mark. And let's see here. Okay. Catching up here slowly. Checked off in the house. And I've caught up to those coming in. And we got 20 watching. And of course, it's not letting me see what the current number on thumbs up is. You'd have to refresh your page to see it. Because I know it just sticks and doesn't go on. It just shows you where you are when you came in and gave the thumbs up. Everybody remember, hydrate. All right. New comments. All right. So let's pop this up over here. Boom. Evacuation centers, do's and don'ts. Now, it says evacuation centers, not FEMA death camps, not relocation camps. And there's a difference in the fact that FEMA death camps do not exist, no matter what anybody tries to say to drum up malarkey on it. FEMA doesn't have the money to set up death camps or do any of that other, BS, which, believe it or not, a lot of that BS is put out by certain members of the demon rat side of the aisle to stir up the far right to doing stuff stupid. So, all right, now, so let's take a look here at what we got here. All right, so it is not like this where they lock you in with Constantine wire and chain link fences and stuff. That is not it is not set up out in the middle of the desert where you can't get away from it. It is not electric fences and barbed wire where they dress you up in prison uniforms. What it is, it's a place where people can go to in emergencies such as hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, where they can go and get relief. Okay. And let's see here. Okay. So here is a evacuation center set up by the Red Cross before the people come in. Now, what happens after the people come in? I thought was kind of funny. Family groups got together, pulled the cots closer together, made aisles and dividers between themselves and other families, so they could segregate themselves a little bit and keep an eye on their stuff a little bit better. But that's the same building, same setup. A lot of times it's not set up where you think it's set up at. All right. They take whatever facilities they can nearby and get it set up so they can set up and give out water, food, coats, cots, blankets and stuff for people to where it's set up. And believe it or not, over 99% of them are not run by the government. It's set up, it's put on, the federal government. It may be the county setting it up. It may be the city setting it up. It may be the state setting it up using Red Cross, Salvation Army, the CERT programs to help people. All right, so let's get the next one here. A lot of times they're in gymnasiums at schools. Yeah. Sometimes they're just where at wherever they can set them up, rec centers, just any place they can find to set up churches. They'll get churches to have big cultural halls, activity halls, whatever you want to call them, and set up there. Hey, Tibor, see who else snuck in here. Let's try to see who else slipped in here. I think, yeah, Tibor was the latest coming in. Now, I believe we're going to slide into the do's and don'ts here. Do's. All right. When you go to one of these things, bring your IDs, bring your medical information, not just, if you have any special medical issues, but, medical insurance cards and stuff, insurance information for homes, cars, and other stuff, because it's most likely that's where you're going to run into the insurance agents. If your home has been destroyed by an earthquake or a tornado or a hurricane, flood, whatever, they'll be sending agents to the evacuation centers to start doing the paperwork to get your insurance money. So you want to have all that information with you. Essential medications. If you're on, asthma medications, whatever it is you need to take, heart medications, make sure you take it. Make sure, this is important, make sure it is in the original prescription bottle, not in a Ziploc baggie. Because if it's in a Ziploc baggie, they're going to count that as illicit drugs, and they're going to confiscate them. If it's in the prescription bottle, this is my heart medication, they see you got the prescription for it, you're golden. All right, you want to bring at least one change of clothing with you, which means, hey, this is going to be a go bag you're going to have to bring stuff with you. If you can have a sleeping bags, you bring the sleeping bags or your own blankets. You also want to bring some card games for the kids and adults because it's going to get boring there. And you may want to bring some simple food for last you for a day or two, because the first day they're doing it, they're going to be something's going to happen. Murphy's Law is going to happen, and a lot of them get short on the amount of food they have. So you bring stuff like beef jerky, granola bars, trail mix, stuff that's packaged like that, that's easy to handle. You don't have to cook it, so it's just dried and eat. So these are some of the things. Hey, little lemon pepper. These are just some of the things you should bring. One of the things you can do for your medical insurance, uh, life insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance, and other um, documentation like that, get a thumb drive and scan all that stuff. Have it on the thumb drive as well. And that way, you're not carrying a bunch of papers and stuff. And you can actually have, one or two thumb drives for you, your spouse, oldest kid, someone, so you have multiple ones in case something happens to it. Those you may want to keep in a Ziploc bag to keep them dry. All right, and don'ts. Do not bring weapons. Do not bring your firearms. Firearms will not be allowed in these, and you'll have to surrender. If there's a sheriff, city police there, whatever, you'll have you sign it over to them. They'll give you a receipt for it. Things go missing though, so don't bring firearms. Don't bring your machetes. If you're going to bring something, and you want to make sure you have a knife, a multi-tool you can get away with. A small pocket knife, like one of those little Swiss Army knives, one of the small ones. Those generally, unless they got an idiot running it, they'll let you get away with that because you're going to need to open up packages and stuff, and then when they give out MREs and stuff like that. Hey, Scott Hummer, welcome. All right, pets and livestock. Those got asterisks on them because those are special. If you have pets, before you check in, find out, is the county or city setting up a pet shelter nearby the evacuation center you're going to? We started back in 2007 when we added the animal module to the CERT program, and then ran out the entire CART program, for county animal rescue teams to work under the same program nationwide for setting up pet shelters. Livestock, you don't want to be bringing your cows and goats in there and stuff either. You need to find someplace out for that. And if your county, if you have those, check with your county before a disaster. Find out if they're going to be setting up a place for livestock, not just pets, but livestock, horses, cows, goats, whatever, chickens. Okay, and you want to make sure if they have that, do deal with that there. If they don't, plan ahead. Find out, make arrangements with other farmers or friends to be able to take those animals to their places if they're farther out. And think of it as here's the epicenter of the disaster. And as it gets less and less bad as you get out from that point, have someone out there farther out that you can take stuff to if you need to. And then if you do that, you may not even need to go to the evacuation. So they may say, no, you guys, we got a travel trailer here. You guys just set up the travel trailer, and that's good. All right. Let's see who we got coming in here. South Florida, DCL, Grandma Merkel. Hey, Grandma, how's it going? All right, Uncle Al, do not delete Grandma Merkel's hello, all you fine ass people. That's the way she is. Undelete it if you can. That's what she says. Yeah, don't delete Grandma Merkel's comments. That's just the way she is. She does not have a filter, and we love her for it. All right. Let's see here. Anybody else popping in there? Uncle Utah Mike, how you doing? All right. Let's see. So that takes care of pets and stuff. You don't want to bring. They will not allow pets into a evacuation center. You cannot bring support pets in there. If you have a certified and you got the papers for it for a service animal, such as a seeing eye dog, those can be brought in. But you got to have the paperwork for it. It can't just be, oh, I bought the little halter thing that goes over their back from Walmart. No, you have to have, it has to be a registered service animal. Okay, next thing, do not bring alcohol. They will confiscate all. Alcohol is not allowed in any evacuation centers. Illegal drugs are not allowed in an evacuation center. Now, there's a difference here on this next one. I said bring on the dues. I said bring a 1 or 2 days of simple food. Don't bring in 27 gallon, one of those big black and yellow totes full of food. That basically you're going to stir up other people in there, and fights are going to ensue over food if there's a problem with getting food to the center. All right, don't bring non-essentials. You don't need to be packing in all your photo albums. You don't need to be bringing in, a big box of games. That's why I said a deck of cards or two, something, small games to keep busy. You don't need to bring in a bunch of stuff. You don't need to be bringing in your boom box. They'll tell you to go back out and put that out in your car. So, if it's not essential stuff, don't bring it in there. And most importantly, don't bring a bad attitude. Don't be demanding of staff because they'll kick you out. Don't get argumentative. Don't come in drunk. These are, the people, most of the people there are volunteers helping out. All right. Kaylin Strain's in the house. Jay is here. All right. So, all right. So for the usual guys, there's the link. I expect Uncle Al to jump up here. And let me go ahead and pin it here. But once again, the pictures let me go back up to some of these pictures. These evacuation centers, these are here in the U.S. These are evacuation centers for natural disasters. And, this is what they look like. And they're run by volunteers, either the Red Cross or counties or cities. A few of them the supplies are brought out by the state, but it's up to the local to run it. Yeah, Uncle Utah Mike, I'm glad you said not in many states for the marijuana. However, in all evacuation centers, you're not allowed to smoke inside. You are not allowed to smoke inside. Period.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, come on.
Gil is right. You cannot smoke inside the evacuation center. Our church we run it with the county. The big problem with a lot of people, also, you can't chew. You can't spit and chew inside there. We don't have showers. We do have restrooms and toilets. So I tell a lot of people what you want to do is understand that you cannot bathe at these evacuation centers. These are temporary setups for 3 days.
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes a little bit longer, like in the plan was for Rita until the I forget the name of the arena. Where it got flooded.
Shoot.
Yeah, the one down in New Orleans that got flooded. All right.
The Silver Dome, the Super Bowl one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that one was set up. They were planning on that being up for 7 to 10 days.
That was a
disaster. But Rita was so bad. Not Rita. Katrina was so bad that if it was determined if it hadn't gotten flooded out, they probably would have ran it for 2 weeks, maybe beyond, because the waters weren't receding for people to go back into their areas for over 2 weeks. So.
Right. And
Superdome, yes. Thank you, Cold War Prepper. Yes, the Superdome. Yes.
The big problem was they did not have a plan to relocate people to temporary housing. That was the biggest problem. And the city of New Orleans had buses Gil knows what I'm talking about. Remember all those buses underwater, Gil?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Katrina was a whole nother nightmare on the city's level, on the parish level, and on the state level.
right.
And
It
that's
was,
and especially Mayor Nagin was trying not to spend any city money and get money from the parish and the state and the feds to come in. And it's the Fed, all right, federal government. FEMA cannot do anything until the cities, the counties / parishes, and states have put forth all of their resources first. By law, they can't do anything until the state shows it, and all these agencies show that they put forth all their resources. Then they'll write a check for all those resources, but they can't do anything until they do that.
can you still hear me?
Yep, I can still hear you.
All right. I just got back
Famous
from,
cemeteries to pass. What a mess that place was. Yeah.
sorry, I couldn't.
The problem is too. You got to realize, it may be quote run by the county, parish, or the state, or by the city, but 99% of the people running it are volunteers, and they just got a little playbook they're given on how to run it. So, and that's the problem. They don't train these guys a lot.
Right. The biggest problem I have is training, and that playbook, Gil knows what I'm talking about, is incomplete.
Yeah.
Because I had pages missed and I had to type out, go ask Gil. I can't point with my other finger, but he knows what I'm talking about. There's pages.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have, they ask where, like, where's FEMA? FEMA will be here after 3 days. This is emergency setup. I had, like Gil said, I had so many people try bringing pets, mules. One lady tried to bring sheep. And then, whatchamacallit, I had, normally we have deputy sheriffs out there. There is no private security. We have deputy sheriff. If we're lucky, we have National Guard to help us out. Our biggest problem was we had some people that I had to separate from the people that needed to be refugees. I had some people that I had the deputy sheriff hold. We have a whole special area for them because I had to background check them. Guess what I caught last time I set up one of these evacuation centers?
I'm afraid to ask.
I caught 2 wanted felons. They were coming in, get a free bed and a meal. One was a child molester out of Utah. Another one was Nevada bail jumper. And boy, were deputy sheriffs say, you made my day.
Yeah.
This is
all right. Well, I got a question. I want to answer the question. So, Josh, ahead of time, you want to volunteer ahead of time. So your name is on the list, because now counties and cities are doing background checks to make sure the volunteers aren't bail jumpers, aren't child molesters, aren't anything like that. And they'll just do a simple background check to make sure you don't have any outstanding warrants. And so you'll be on the approved list of volunteers when something happens. And that way, you can also meet with depending on who's going to be setting up the shelters, whether the cities are going to be doing it, whether the county's going to do it, or whether the state's going to do it. Most likely it's going to be counties overseeing it. And generally, if the county's overseeing it, it's either going to be Sheriff's Search and Rescue running it, or the county CERT program, the Community Emergency Response Team, which is all volunteers. And but they train and practice. They meet monthly and train often for their stuff. And this is one of the things they're set up for. And so you can set up with them to be that's who you call to offer for help. And when the time comes, and you can be on a call, they'll either have you on a call list, or you can call and say, hey, I'm available. Where do you want me to go?
Also, if it's a church setup like we do here, Jill, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, if you're in a church setup, you get vetted. by the sheriff's department because they go through training. You get first aid, everything. But this, our concern is for the church is the shelter. That's taking
Mhm.
care of people there. That's taking care of special needs. That's taking care of elderly. That's also taking people care of with medical needs. Now, do not go to the hospital during a disaster looking for what you might call it, evacuation services. They are too busy to do that.
Yeah.
I keep telling that to people. They will not give you food. They are knee deep in taking care of the injured, the sick, and stuff. Am I right, Gil?
Yeah. Yeah. Usually what they'll do is if they're setting up an evacuation center, they'll also set up a triage station next to it, and with an expandable triage station where some of the injured are separated from those going into the evacuation centers, and they will break families up like that. If you have three family members that are totally fine, and you have somebody that broke their leg or something, they'll take that person with the broken leg into the triage center and put everybody else in there because you cannot bring the rest of the family into the triage center because that is considered an emergency medical facility at the time. So they separate non-injured from the injured.
Right. And that's why my church always provides services for the family who has an injured member and separate them and counsel them properly. Because we have jobs for all that. I tell a lot of people, go contact your church and make sure you're vetted and you're trained properly. It takes roughly about a month to do that. In conjunction, if you want to do CERT, they also have classes on that. But if you're running a shelter, I have to go through everybody with first aid. Also, Gil put up a good point on the weapons and stuff. Do not bring pepper spray into a shelter.
Yeah, that was what I forgot.
Okay.
No chemical agents.
I was running a shelter during the wildfires. Remember, Gil?
Mm-hmm.
In California, some idiot brought a big can of bear spray and it exploded inside the shelter. I have asthma, and 14 other elderly people in the shelter that was with me, we dropped like rocks. And, that guy got in trouble. He got about, I think, 2 years in county jail. I think some state charges because he also, I think 6 deputy sheriffs was nailed by 10% bear spray in a crowded shelter. We had 50 people, families in there.
Yeah.
Take a wild guess.
Yeah. One of the things you got to understand you got 50 states. Not all states are on the same page. They set up their own little things as far as what they want allowed and disallowed and everything else for shelters and everything else for people volunteering at shelters. And then so the state sets up this, or this is the base level, this is the base level on it. But the counties can go, oh no, we're going to be more restrictive. And cities can go, oh, we're even going to be even more restrictive. We really want to keep a tight control on it. So there's, we're just telling you general information here. Check with your local government, whether city or county, find out what they do if you're interested in helping out. Because the more volunteers they have to help out, the less stress it is on the volunteers because they got plenty of people to do it. They can take breaks. They can work people in. They can, do the things they're supposed to be doing. And if the staff there is less stressed, the people coming in will see that the staff is relaxed. They're doing things. They're friendly. They're able to, talk to people in a civil manner, and then they de-stress as well. And that's one of the big things to do is you want to keep everybody stressed down low where they get in there and you go, oh, okay, we're safe for the night.
Also on tips, everybody brings pillows, pillow or earplugs or eye shades because you got, let's see, last shelter I ran that wasn't screwed up was 150 people snoring.
Yeah. Yeah, so earplugs. You can get they're not
Eye
blindfolds,
shades.
but they're the the soft things that go over your eyes, so it's black it out. Because let me go back to this one here. They're not going to turn all the lights off. They may turn most of the lights off, but it's still going to be fairly illuminated in there, so people can get up, go to the bathroom, walk around, not trip and fall over each other and get hurt. So they're going to
Right.
keep a fair amount of lights on.
Make sure if you bring like I said, a pillow, a blanket, or a sleeping bag. We provide cots in our county, cots
Yeah.
and mats. But if it gets overload, I mean, God, the
Yeah.
251, I had to call out for certain favors because people were sleeping on concrete floors, and that's bad. You never
Yeah.
want to have people that are temporary homeless from the disaster sleeping on concrete floors with a space blanket. So I tell
Yeah.
a lot of people, make sure you have a cot, make sure you have a mattress, a blanket,
Yeah.
sleeping bag, and a pillow.
And Caitlin points out the good thing. Those working security for the evacuation centers, whether they are hired in private security for it, or whether they are city police, county sheriffs, state police, whatever, they'll be walking around, trying to keep people from stealing other people's stuff and stopping disputes from happening and stuff over stuff like that. They're also looking out for people that are child predators.
Right.
That may not be registered, but may try to do something. So
something bad.
Yeah.
Because when I do one of these refugee centers or evacuation centers, it gives me a big headache because some people want to go back into the fire. And I have to stop them because, I'll just dump my stuff here and go back and check on my house.
No, you
have
can't. You
to
once
stop them.
Yeah, and once you go in, you can't leave your stuff there and leave. If you leave, you got to take everything with you, and they will tell you, hey, this area you want to go into is blocked off. They will not let you in. Doesn't matter if you're a resident there or not. They will not let anybody in because it's not safe, and we will let you know when it is.
Gil remembers what I'm talking about. We had fire that were 15 feet high flames. We lost towns up in the mountains, just completely devastated. And people want to go into that, and I'm looking at them.
In the San Francisco Bay area, the fire's burning between 101 and Interstate 5 up in Solano and Napa counties. People were trying to get in there. I need to take. I use this road to go commute home every night. No, this road's closed. Well, I can drive through it. No, you can't. The road is on fire, and you had people trying to get back up into the areas after they were evacuated out, and half of Santa Rosa burnt down. The city of Santa Rosa. I a couple of years ago, I did a thing on it, and I was showing all the photos from it, and you see these neighborhoods, you see all the streets, and there's nothing taller than a burnt out refrigerator left on some of the lots.
Right. A good point is, Gil knows what I'm talking about. Gil, remember the Oakland fires?
Oh.
Gil's know what I'm
yes,
talking
I remember I was there. I remember the Oakland fires. I mean, that was like, holy crap. And that's a whole nother story what happened there.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of that was before the state of California had their incident command system set up. Southern California had FireScope. Northern California didn't have anything because they generally didn't have big fires up in Northern California. After that, FireScope was adopted by the state and turned into the California Incident Command System. And after 9/11, the California Incident Command System became the federal Incident Command System. They just took the book, changed state of California to federal government, and just changed all the wording on it, and it was almost exactly the same for the first year. And then they went in and started tweaking it.
Right. Because I had such a big headache. later, what you call it, evacuation center, we do have insurance agents from about 12 different insurance companies. We have financial officials from banks. We had let's see, last time, trying to remember. Oh, we had telecommunications. We had internet and also cell phone. Horizon did a really good job. They put up a temporary, it was on the news. You might see me in the background. They had a temporary Horizon communication center where people can contact their families. I did not sleep for a week there. It's like,
yeah, that was one of the other things, what other lessons learned from Katrina, because cell phones were on the increase then. And a lot of the county, city, government agencies had bought cell phones. Oh, cool. We don't have to worry about landlines. We can communicate this way. Well, from the time they started buying their cell phones, several years later when Katrina happened, just about everybody had bought a cell phone. And everybody was on the cell phone trying to call, and the emergency responders could not get through. And text messages were iffy on when they went through. And so now they have there's a program out there where you have to have what's either called a GETS, a Government Emergency Transmission System card for state, city, county, state, and federal employees that you have hooked up to your cell phone is registered to that, or a WPS, which is for banks and hospitals and essential non-governmental to be able to communicate with. And what happens is when there is a major disaster like a hurricane that goes in an area and it's bad, somebody wearing this hat sitting at the coordination center hits the button, and that area is now under only calls that can go through is WPS or GETS calls. And that's it. Nobody else can call. And now the exception to that is, and I really love this, AT&T has a small satellite phone that you can get. And so a lot of people were getting the satellite phones there in California because they knew that on the earthquake, not only are the transmission lines going to be severed, but the radios are, the phone lines are going to be shut off, and they were getting satellites because satellite goes up and down to another satellite phone or up and out of the area.
Right.
So.
Sorry.
Hey, all right, hang on. I just got someone new in here. Greatness, and it says cots, headphones, sleeping mask, identification, bug out bags. Now you got to make sure. This is technically not a bug out bag you want to be taking there. It's either a go bag or an evacuation bag. It's set up totally different than a bug out bag. This is what you're going to be having to go to an evacuation center, and there are no weapons in that bag, no ammunition, none of that stuff.
Also,
thanks, Greatness, for mentioning that.
Okay. Also, no flammable stuff. You do not bring your little stove. You do not bring any cooking equipment. You're not going to start cooking inside the shelter. No flammables. Okay.
Yeah.
Gil knows what I'm talking about. No.
Oh yeah.
Flammable.
You cannot start any sort of fire inside. It's a little camp stove. No, you can't do that.
Or butane or propane. No.
And you're right. Checked off. No flamethrowers. Hey, you'd be surprised that some people try to bring in.
I know.
Hello, Tofu.
Hi, Tofu. It's limited to 60 pounds because a lot of people will try to bring the kitchen sink into a evacuation center, which drives me nuts. You cannot bring your twin bed. Okay. It's like.
And let's see. Hang on. Brenda Duncan 1900 Home said hello. Yeah. Well, basically, when you want to have a go bag, which is simply a small day pack or backpack that you just have change of clothes, couple packages of jerky and granola bars, stuff like that. Just a couple of that, and just the essentials that you need to survive. This is not a you're not going to be like at the Hilton. No. If you have a small pillow that can be rolled up and put in a vacuum bag and stuck in there, maybe a wool blanket.
Let me put in a point. If you bring in a small thermos, most places we got hot food once a day, and the rest of the time it's like snacks or donuts or
sandwiches,
sandwiches and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's basically in California, or Northern California, and down in LA area, they're called box lunches.
Right.
They get catering companies to put them together. They'll bring in however many you need, and they just hand them out.
Right. But we do sometimes serve hot food because it depends on the company. Mm-hmm. But I tell a lot of people, bring a small thermos flask because you can fill it up with coffee, hot water, or cold water, and you have something to drink there.
Yep.
Okay. A lot of people will buy canned sodas. And Gil knows what I'm talking about, the Gatorade and soda incidents at evacuation centers. It's like, we're getting to a point where we're going to ban those if they're not doing it careful. Yeah. It's like I mopped up so much spills in the last one. It's like, this is why I look wrecked. All right. This is one of the things I was arguing this evening at my church meeting. It's like we have to think of every. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to bring up a picture. Or Tibor said, our elderly children, the poorest, everybody else should rely on their own wits. Yeah, everyone should have a plan. Everybody should have a plan. Oh, if this happens, we're going to go to Aunt Ellen's or Uncle Jack's or Cousin Donnie way out, as your ring goes out farther and farther away from it. If you can. Sometimes you can't get out there for a day or two because the roads are impassable. But now you look at the picture here. You see, you got middle aged. You got some young ones in there, and you get lining up in different groups and stuff. Family groups. There's little kids down here in the front, and I've seen in these things where you got 3 generations of a family coming in. You got the kids, the parents, and the grandparents coming in together because that's how they are in the house. But so you have families set up like air mattresses is something you can bring as well. Because sometimes they're going to run out of cots, and sometimes they don't get enough there, and they got all this open space in the gymnasium where they don't have cots on. So if you have air mattresses, you can set up over there. Let's see. I'm just checking the things here.
I just remember, Gil, on the air mattress, it has to be a twin size because they will not let any kind of giant air mattress from hell. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And if you got I've seen people bring in 2 twin mattresses and a king size fitted sheet to put over to hold 2 of them together so family can all lay on the air mattresses and not have it pulling apart. There's just the main thing I think Uncle Al and I want to make sure you guys get is plan ahead. You may never have to use it, which is perfect, but you need to have a plan in place for just in case that 1,000-year disaster hits your area and you are affected. And so I was saying one thing about it, but someone says, yeah, if you fail to plan, you're planning on failing. It's just like, poor planning, purpose case, piss poor performance and all that other stuff. You need to have some sort of plan in place, and not just a plan with option A, B, C, and D. A, you have a plan. You're getting out of the area. You're going to a relative so many miles away. B, you're going to a relative farther away. And each thing includes all the routes, the multiple routes to get there. And then you have plans of like, okay, my house is fine. I'm just going to shelter in place here, but I'm ready to leave at a moment's notice, just in case it gets worse than what it is. And then there's the one that's like, okay, yeah, we got to go to the shelter until we can get a chance to get out of the area.
Well, I forgot about this. Sorry, Gil. Both me and Gil knows what we're talking about. If your car or truck is damaged during the evacuation from the area that's like the wildfire, God, we had one truck that was so burnt that I wouldn't let it leave the compound. And I talked to the deputy sheriff to look at it, and he said, no, this vehicle is thrashed. And this guy was trying to leave. I told him, you have to get another vehicle. It is not safe to be on the road.
Yeah. And during disasters, they will enforce vehicle safety. If a vehicle looks like it is not safe to be on the road, they will red tag it and take it and impound it. And depending on your state, county, and city law enforcement agencies.
Right. It also be the damage from the disaster. If it's like what I had was wildfire, you know, Gil knows what I'm talking about. When the tires are melted and there's
the
like
tires are bubbling out, the paint's all peeled, bubbled off the side, and all the plastic on the outside is dripping, melting down. Yeah. Now, Kaylin has a good point. And Kaylin, what you need to do is check with your city and the county for, and check with the sheriff's department, search and rescue, or find out who's in charge of disaster events when it happens, and take pictures of it. This is my collapsible wagon where I pack everything in because I can't carry much, and I can carry that. Would that be allowed for me to bring to an evacuation center to have my stuff in? So since I can't get around good and I need that, And if you have a limp, accentuate your limp.
It's a good thing, Kaylin. It's collapsible. I have a lot of elderly people. Again, you could use one of those, but what you could bring into the evacuation shelter is 60 pounds. You have to leave it outside. I tell a lot of people, if you use one of those wagons, make sure it's secured. Nobody can take your stuff out of it, because we're rotating security and we have people walking around. We cannot guarantee if it's going to stay in the wagon.
Yeah. And some places, if it's, so I'm going to go back to the one here. All right, we'll look at some of these, and you see if you are on these things here. All right, this one here, this one, I see a suitcase. I see a suitcase right here in front. They wheel, and here's a suitcase here. So they're wheeling stuff in wheeled suitcases. I don't see any wagons on this one here. I see a tote over here, a small 15-gallon tote. And they bring it in their camp chairs. There are some camp chairs out here besides the metal folding chairs from the school. So some of those brought in. They're soft. There's a green one and a blue camp chair in the middle there in the back. Suitcase, cooler. Oh, this one allowed them to bring in an ice chest. Okay, but there's a room.
Small one, it's not bad. And
this is one of those probably one of these 15-gallon to 20-gallon ice chests there. Depends on the facility. I don't see any wagons here. I don't see any wagons or chairs here. I really don't see any suitcases in that one. This is the outside. This is the people going in and stuff, and they're getting supplies here and stuff. Volunteer. Okay, here's the big one. They've moved things around. I see boxes. I see garbage bags, suitcases, a wheelchair here. I don't see any of those collapsible wagons here, but I have seen them at the ones in Northern California where they'll bring stuff in because they got little kids and they've got all the little kids' stuff in the wagon. And generally, if they have enough space, you got space around here where you can put a wagon, no problem. They'll let them in with it, not a problem.
Right.
But
The other
this
thing
is
on the
this is what it
suitcase,
looked like beforehand. It was like this nice space, and then they family groups grouped it together. So, but yeah, you can. There are different things around. Yeah, I see more garbage stuff being carried in clear garbage bags and other suitcases and stuff, but I don't see any wagons there though.
right. The big reason why we have to be careful on the wagons, because we had a couple of unfortunate people that were trying to bring in shopping carts.
Oh yeah,
we had to put our foot down on that one.
Yeah,
no shopping
because
carts.
they're bringing in too much stuff.
Right. And then the other thing was, the big thing on the suitcases, it has to be, we have parameters in our county on what you could bring as a suitcase. We tell a lot of people, get a tote with wheels. You've seen some of my videos, Gil, I have that size tote. If you put the tote underneath the cot, it works. If it's bigger than that, leave it at home. If you have an ice chest, if it's small, not a 15-gallon, I don't know where that was, but it depends on the county. We told them, if it fits underneath the cot, you could bring it in.
Hang on one second. I'm going to bring up the photo of it.
Was it an Igloo or a Walmart special?
With the totes?
Yeah.
All right. The once I saw I saw the Igloo one in there, and that is the ice chest was an Igloo. All right. So here we go. This black one, the Sterilite one, has wheels on the one end, and you can pick it up on the other end and walk with it. This one has more wheels, and it's a clear one, and it's bigger, a lot bigger than this one. The photos don't do it justice. It's a lot bigger than that one, and the black one comes in black and gray. This here is like a rolling sewing machine case, but you can put other stuff in it. There's one of the that's got better wheels on it, has a pull-out handle on it, and that type there would probably work better. I'm going to enlarge that one.
Right.
See, that would probably work better. It's got the pull-out handle, and when they pick it up, and you have different things in it as well for getting your stuff in and out. But that pull-out handle helps a lot when you're trying to walk. You're not bent over, and once you get inside, you're like, I can't move my neck now. My back's tweaked. Yeah.
And we're not going to help you either, because we told them, if you cannot transport that by yourself, we're not going to help. Also, it has to fit underneath the cot.
Yeah.
I always state that. And also, you have to transport it yourself, because I'm not going to be helping you unless you're disabled or elderly. Okay, those are two special cases that we allow help, but it takes up a lot of the staff's time. Jill knows what I'm talking about, because
there are so many people coming in. The staff doesn't have time to escort you around, carry your stuff in. If you can't carry it on your own, or your family can't carry their entire thing in one shot, yeah.
Because the big thing is, I have. What was it? Go ahead.
I was just thinking here. The little black one I showed, that one does fit underneath my camp cot, which I used to use at scout camp. But I'm just looking back at the picture here and seeing, and there are some people do have stuff stuffed underneath their cots as well. Suitcases, and maybe a couple of those black type totes, wheeled totes stuffed under their cots there in the one picture here. Hey, Prepper 101.
Hi, Prepper 101. The big problems with a lot of these places is the staff is busy. We're only set up for like 3 days to a week, because here it's 3 days because we learned our lesson. We're set up for 3 days. After the 3 days, you're at temporary housing. That's another headache, because a lot of people don't, well, can't we go back home? And I said, you don't have a house. We're sending you up at a motel or a hotel, because people don't think. Remember, you know what I'm talking about, Gil, and the fires in the Bay Areas, where a whole strip.
Yeah, that's with those. The county came in. Most of the counties had a county emergency operation group that came in, would set that up, and they were immediately they were being very diligent in the processing the paperwork on it, because they turned around and handed it to FEMA for so the county could get reimbursed immediately. And so that's, there's, when you're in one of these and you're going to be set up in a hotel by them, expect to spend a half an hour or so doing paperwork with the county or city before they put you in there, because they got to dot their T's, cross their I's. See how many people caught that one, and get it all right. And because they want to get their money back from FEMA, if FEMA has money.
Right. And also remember, folks, this is not 1 or 2 sheets. Gil, what's the last time you ran through the forums? Was it 15 or 20?
All right. The forums I saw being used by Contra Costa County and Alameda County was 8 pages. Small print. And they had small print of all the stuff, and then they had the areas to fill. They had a little bit bigger areas for writing in stuff, but it's and then they and the thing is they'll fill out the stuff there, and then once you're in the hotel, someone else will came around later in case there was any other additional information they needed. But that's one of the reasons why you say you need to bring your insurance stuff too, because
big time.
They if you have insurance, they will front the money and bill your insurance company. So that's the way some of those work.
Right. I tell a lot of people, if you have a laptop and the stick thing, you know what I'm talking about, Gil? It's not it's before the cloud. Stick drive. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You plug it into your computer and all your data is right there. They could take that.
Here they go. Okay, so pros, either a thumb drive or a portable external drive.
Right. Those help a lot, because you don't want to be there with 60 pages of insurance.
But all right. Now, all right, we're at the top of the hour. We're at the top of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Folks, check with your local county, city, whatever. Find out, about their emergency services. Find out what you need to do, what they suggest. Most of them have a little, flyer set that has 3 or 4 pages on it. They'll give you of what you can't bring, all the rules and everything else about these evacuation centers, so that you come in more intelligent than everybody else coming in, and you're able to do stuff. All right, so let's get on this. So Thursday night here on Gray Man Prepping at 11:55 Eastern is the Midnight Ride. Open topics for most of it. Friday night on Camp Patton Family Compound is Groundhog Day, and we're just going to have kind of an open chat on different things. Most likely stuff is going to turn to gardening and canning, depending on what the chat brings up. Survival Saturday on Gray Man Prepping is the topic is carbon monoxide, and hopefully we'll have the doctors in there as well on that one. Next Monday is we're going to talk about canning soups, not making the dry packets and stuff, canning soups, and including times and stuff for vegetable soups versus beef, meat, meat, chicken, turkey, pork, whatever type soups, and difference between pressure canning and water bath canning them. So that's on Monday. And then next Tuesday here, we're going to get a little specific on something. We're going to talk about stocking your bathroom. There's a lot of stuff in most people's bathrooms. They don't even think, if you collect stuff over time, and they don't think about keeping up on everything in there. So that's what we're going to be talking about, because, hey, who knows? If you need to out to a cousin's house, you can be just trying to empty out your cabinet so you have everything you need. And like one of the ladies I worked with, she goes, in an emergency, you don't need a friggin' hair dryer. You don't need a curling iron. All right. So, and that's what's coming up this next week. Thank everybody that's in here, coming in, and for their comments and their input. Thank you, Uncle Al, for coming up here. Thank you for suggesting this topic. And of course, I had to put up the background here behind us that someone put up on someone created on for a meme on Facebook. The female Walmart Center. All righty. So,
like I said,
go ahead. Go ahead, Al.
Check out Gil's channel. Great channel. Gil, did you make your 5150 yet or not?
Oh yeah, we did 5150 last week when we were talking about Dutch ovens, and I was going to give away a Dutch oven over there in the continental U.S. I think Alicia got it for up in Canada, so she just got the cash value in a card just so she could deal with Amazon Canada up there to get it. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. Stay safe. Don't do anything foolish. Be happy no matter what life throws at you, and keep adding to your preps. Water, food, medicines, clothing, learn a new skill, and write your plans down, folks. See you around.